back to Hidden Valley Cattle. Today I'm going to be cutting hay. I went to the neighbor's place to get a disc bind hay mower, and we're going back to my farm to cut hay. I roughly have about 13-ish acres of hay to cut, so I'll bring y'all along and let's go and cut some hay. I have to drive on the opposite side of the road because I have a pretty wide mower. I'm going across the whole road. I'm taking the whole road up. So when traffic comes, I have to pull off into the ditch because there's no room. You know how I was saying I have to pull off because there's traffic? Well, here's a good example. There's a car and I'm having to back up the road to let them go by. This is unbelievable. Well, I started cutting hay and everything's going well. I was hoping to get like a starting video, me starting cutting, but I couldn't. It's going well. Here you go, if I can turn this camera around. This is the neighbor's property. There's roughly 10 acres of pretty good quality hay. There's a lot of clover, I think some fescue and some other stuff. So this is pretty good stuff right here. I'm real impressed with this field. I probably will only be getting one cutting off of here. I think the neighbors are wanting to do some work and kind of farm it themselves, so I only think I'm going to be able to get one cutting off of this year. But yeah, here's a little bit of how it goes. I'm going to try getting some tripod work here in a few minutes. I'm having to do this in sections because there is like irrigation ditches, and so like for draining water better. And so it kind of makes it rough to go all the way around, so I'm having to do it in sections in between the two ditches. So it can be interesting, a little bit time consuming, kind of a little bit like a little bit irritating, but we'll just make it do. And I mean, everything's going great. We'll try to get some more footage. Started on the other little hay field. There's a little hay field over here that we need to get start up there. There's a hill there. I probably won't get that. I feel like it's a little bit too steep, so I'll probably just bush hog that later on here. Here's a little bit of footage of this other little field. We finished that other field. I'm guessing probably took me about probably took me about about an hour and a half, 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, 2-3 hours. So anyhow, as you can see, we had to go into the night. It got about 11:30 when I was done, and everything went well, but we just had to go in the night because we were running out of time, and I needed to get all of the hay cut so I could get it all baled in the next few days. Today, I'm going to be raking hay. I'm going to have somebody come in and bale to keep. I ain't got a baler. So, let's go rake some hay. Well, as I said earlier, I don't have a baler, so this is a neighbor of mine that I'd asked to come and bale my hay for me. He's really reasonable, and he does a really good job. I'm really impressed with the bales that I've got. They're 5x6s, net wrapped, super good quality. It's just a super good baler. I wish I had gotten some more raking videos, but it is extremely difficult when you're trying to rake and film at the same time. I don't have a cameraman, so it makes it kind of hard. Luckily, there was a buddy of mine that had come out to video me cutting hay, so that's how I got that. There is a hillside here, so here in a second you'll see that he backs up with the baler. He has a bale in the baler and he needs to get it out, and he has to make sure that the bale, when it comes out, is in a spot where it won't roll down the hill. But as you can see here, he lets it out and it starts to tip a little bit, and then you'd think it might not, and then boom, it tips. And that happens, but thankfully it didn't go all the way down the hill. It's a fairly steep hill, but we hauled all the hay up that hill, and it was quite an adventure to get it out of there. Now that we've baled the hay, we're wrapping it to hold the feed value. We ended up having about 3 bales of hay that did not wrap right. I think the wrap tore or it didn't set right. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but we had to take them out of the plastic and then rewrap them, because if not, they would have mold. See, the plastic holds the air from getting in there and causing it to be airtight, and with holes being in there, that is not possible. That's a wrap. The first cutting of hay is all done. We wrapped it in plastic, and that's going to keep the taste, flavor, and it'll ferment a little bit, and the cows will eat it a lot better. But we're done with the first cutting of hay, and I've got a wagon here, and behind my wagon I've got my rake. See, what I need to do is take this back to where I got it from, and I don't want to make 2 trips, so I'm just going to take the wagon. It's got a place on the back to pick up another wagon or another piece of equipment, and I'm just going to take it on back together. So let's go. The neighbor was baling hay, trying to beat the weather like the rest of us. Gave him a wave and kept going. Well, that's a wrap, y'all. The 2025 first hay cutting is in the books. If you like the ride, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next one. Hope to see you soon.